everyone, and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. And I really appreciate you watching these videos. I'm getting more subscribers, which I really like. I'm going to keep patiently going after this, trying to work hard at getting traffic out there. If you're watching these, if you're a friend of mine, if you're a sales rep and you haven't subscribed yet, I'd really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Tonight, the Seahawks play the Raiders. Now, I say tonight. I'll probably post this video tomorrow, Friday, but I'm taping this on Thursday, and tonight, the Seahawks play the Raiders. We should see some more action from the starters. Be kind of exciting to watch that, and this regular season starts pretty soon. Excited about the season. Double H, Jimmy Graham. You know, really hard for me at first to wear this because 8s are not a golfer's favorite numbers, but there we go. I'm wearing it. I'm excited about that acquisition. Jimmy Graham should be a good addition to the team. As you can see here, we're going blind. This is not double blind. I do know that these are all blends. I do know that 2 of them are Washington blends and 2 are California blends. I know that much. I'm not going to sit here and try and guess what they're a blend of. I have some idea of what they are, but you know, I had my assistant Scott put this together, and so I appreciate that, Scott. Thank you for doing that. Let's get started. Number 1. I'm not going to zoom in on the bag. The bag just says number 1. A little bit of a rinse. Now, some people are convinced that blind formats are the best way to go. It gets rid of prejudice. You can actually set up a blind tasting to favor an inexpensive wine. It's just the way you set it up. The only problem with a blind tasting, and I don't review most of my wines in the blind format because I'm not worried about prejudice. At least I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on what a wine should taste like, and I don't care if it says, you know, a Margaux on it or if it says Redhead Red. You know, I'm going to judge it the way I think it should be for the money. And sometimes the more expensive wines I have a little harsher criticism towards because they should deliver. If they're a $150, $200 bottle of wine, are you getting that for your money? I know a lot of you would never spend that much on a bottle of wine. But the point is the quality of the wine there? Is it trying to achieve what it should achieve? If it's a Pinot Noir, it's going to be different than if it's a Syrah, than if it's a Cab, than if it's a Merlot, than if it's a Carignan, if it's a, you know, they all have their own different styles. As a wine guy, a wine person, we should understand what that style should be. And we should appreciate where it's coming from. If it's a Syrah from California, or a Pinot from California, it might have more fruit to it because of the heat factor. So there's all that stuff you take into consideration. Forget the label. We're just worried about what you're getting in the bottle of wine. So yeah, I suppose most consumers would be influenced by the label. You know, here they get this, you know, $1,000 bottle of wine. Oh my goodness, you know, it's got to be good. And that's what you got to be careful of. You know, don't allow reputation or price to totally influence how you feel about a wine. You know, even top producers can throw out a stinker every once in a while. So you just take that into consideration. But I know a lot of you like to see the blind format. You like to see how they turn out. I'm always excited because I don't know. You know, it's really cool for me to grade them and then see which ones come in first or last. I enjoy it just for the entertainment value of it and for my own edification. You know, see where my palate is. All right, let's see what we get on those. Wine number 1. Is that a little bit closed? By the way, we had a flood at the store. I bet we had 3 inches of rain. 3 inches of rain in a half hour. Came through the doors. We had sandbags on the doors. We spent about 2 hours cleaning up the water after the rain stopped. Unbelievable. We're still putting the wine department back together. I get a little, it's very close, it's very challenged on the nose. I'm just getting a little bit of red flowers coming through. Believe it or not, I'm getting little like popcorn kernels after you pop the popcorn. Interesting. Definitely getting that. Yeah, amazing. A little bit of caramel too. Interesting. Let's see what we get on the palate. Nice and spicy. Excuse me. Nice and spicy. Get a little bit of that white pepper action coming through. A little bit of a peppercorn element coming through on this. A lot of bright fruits. I get a little bit of cranberry, cherry action going on. A little bit of red flowers coming through. Good acid. It's fresh. Very fresh, clean, and bright on the palate. Yet there's good fruit. Good structure. It's smooth, but serious. I mean, we got all that things. I think it's a little on the young side. I don't know which one this is at all. I have no idea. I can't even remember all of them. A lot of red flowers too. A little bit of tobacco. Getting a little bit of a meatiness coming through, which is interesting. I like this wine. I think it has a lot of good qualities to it. I think it has good structure, good balance. I like the spiciness. I like the brightness of the fruit. I think that with a little bit of age, that'll probably... Okay. Wine number 1's in the book. Let's go to wine number 2. I had to put my Chiwini and Chihuahua out on the porch because they were playing around. They would not be quiet. Ooh, little spillage. Add some character to my tablecloth, already stained tablecloth. This thing has been through a lot of wine tastings. I think I might be wine number 2. I think I might be the worst wine pourer. I know. Ooh, I like the nose. A little bit of cinnamon coming through. Violets, rose petal, cinnamon, big time, currants, and cherries. I'm even getting a little bit of a rosemary element coming through on the palate, which is very interesting. This is very perfumed. The bouquet is really, the smells are really coming out in a powerful way, which I like. Hint of tobacco. Let's see what we get on the palate. This is a darker wine. The fruits are darker than the other one. The acidity is there, but it's kind of dominated by the dark fruits. A lot of currants. I get a little bit of like a really, really ripe cherry skin coming through. It is also a little bit spicy on the back end. Just a hint of that cinnamon coming through on the palate. It has an interesting, almost like a minerality. It almost reminds me a little bit of like crushed red brick, but not entirely. Maybe a little bark element coming through a little bit. This is a dry wine, good structure. Finish is very dry, but it has good fruit. I like this wine. Also, that's 2 in a row. I like it. Let's move on. Interesting. Wine number 3. Just tried a couple of wines from Lebanon. Actually purchased 4 cases of the Mesea Red from the, I'm going to butcher it, Valley in Lebanon, and like that wine a lot. Let's see what we get on the nose of wine number 3. Again, this one's challenged, a little dusty element coming through. It says that bark kind of component on the nose. Very, very close. Interesting. And you always, you know, the interesting thing about wine is you can't really say too much about it if the aromatics aren't there, then the smells, because sometimes on the palate they just explode, but for some reason this wine is not coming through much on the nose. I'm barely getting a little bit of red flower component. Yeah, not much there. Let's see what we get on the palate. Interesting wine. It's delicious. There's no doubt about it. It's a good fruit. Very smooth. Very smooth. And then right at the end you get just a little bit of hit of white pepper. I think, aside from the delicious factor, it's a little bit boring. I find it a little one-dimensional. It's, like I said, let me try it again. I get a little like I'm getting like a currant cherry thing going on for sure. There's definitely currants coming through. I get that white pepper action on the backside. A little like a cola / sarsaparilla thing going on. Some red flowers. A little bit of tobacco on the backside. So it's not, you know, there's some elements to it, but I find this just a little one-dimensional, although I have to say that there's a lot of you out there that probably like it because it is very delicious. I would give it a 9 in the delicious category. Very smooth, very polished, but one of the things I always look for in most wines is to find some, you know, complexity, different layers of flavors. I do like the white pepper. I like that little cola kind of sarsaparilla thing. The tobacco on the end, but most of it's just kind of like it's there. It's delicious. You know, it's like I hate to use the word vanilla ice cream because this is a little bit more than vanilla ice cream. Say it's more like Neapolitan. You know, there's 3 flavors there. Yeah, okay. How much Neapolitan can you eat? You know, I don't know. Yeah. Kind of like a Cameron Diaz, you know, you always know what you're going to get, sort of thing, you know what I mean? Not sure where I was going with that one. Okay. I mean, trust me, I think Cameron Diaz is a good actress, but I only can watch so many movies with her in it. All right, wine number 4. By the way, just a little question, maybe you can make a comment. How good are you at pouring wine? I don't know what it is, but I always hate it when I have a wine event and I have to pour. I feel sorry for some of those folks. Thank goodness they have a good sense of humor. All right, number 4. Let's see what we get on the nose. Right off the bat, you see I get a little bit of a tomato plant sort of thing going on. A lot of tobacco, actually, like tomato plant tobacco and a little bit of, I'm getting Currants for sure. A little bit of bark. There's a little spiciness, like baking spice coming through. So right off the bat, a little bit more interesting than the last wine. Let's see what we get on the palate. Extremely interesting wine. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some Cab Franc in it because remember, these are blends. You get that kind of tomato leaf, tomato plant thing going on, which I like. At the very back end, it's not a prominent part of the wine. Definitely currants, red flowers. You get a little bit of violets coming through. Tobacco notes with the currants and the violets. A little bit of crushed rose petal. A little grip on the back end. This is more of a serious wine. Definitely more fruit to it, but it seems to be in balance. Good acidity right at the end of it. So this wine has good complexity. I just want to kind of go through what I said before. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's like a good book. You know, you get hooked at the beginning, it keeps you going through the middle, and then the finish is everything that you thought it would be with a few surprises. It has a few surprises. It's a little grip action, there's a little leather, tobacco. I like this. This is like a good book. I mean, it has a lot of elements to it, like number 1 and number 2. Number 3 just was like one of those books you open like 50 Shades of Grey. You know, it's kind of, it's okay. It's okay. But really, you know, after a while of reading it, you're going, whatever. That's the way I read it anyway. I don't mean to be that critical. I don't know what this whole 50 Shades of Grey and Cameron Diaz thing is. But I hope you get the I hope you're trying to follow my path. Maybe it was a flooding store or whatever. I'm on this weird kind of thing with my mind. But you know what I mean. I mean, 50 Shades of Grey was all about, you know, whatever it was about. But it wasn't the best written book I've ever read. And it was certainly, I read the whole thing. I'm not ashamed to say that. I mean, my wife had it on the nightstand. I was looking for a book to read. I started reading it. You know, it's okay. I mean, I'm not going to read any of the other ones, that's for sure. Anyway, that being said, this is a lot more interesting, has more to it than number 3. More like number 1 and number 2. Now, this is going to be tough. Okay, the results are in. In first place, number 4. Second place, number 2. Third place, number 1. And in last place, and they all got good grades, by the way, so don't, in last place, or with the lowest grade, number 3. So, remember to go right to left. Last time I messed it up. Let's see what's in bag number 3 with a B minus B grade. The Marjoram M5 from Santa Barbara County, 2013, and this rolls in at $28. It's 51% Grenache, 32% Syrah, 12% Mourvedre, 4% Counoise, and 1% Cinsault. B minus B is not a bad grade. I thought it was delicious, but kind of boring. And I certainly, personally, wouldn't. 28 bucks is a little steep. Just saying. Okay, in third place with a B plus A minus, the Robert Ramsey Cellars 2011 Mason's Red Columbia Valley red wine, and this rolls in at $18. This is 45% Syrah, 19% Cinsault, 16% Cabernet Sauvignon, 15% Mourvedre, and 5% Counoise. There you go. Mason's Red. It's kind of a darker label. Now they got kind of close when you got to this level. I want to pour them again. Okay, in second place with an A minus. (2012) Oyster Ridge, Paso Robles. This is the Ancient Peaks winery. Oh, there's a winemaker. I didn't on my last episode. I didn't. Michael H. Senior is a winemaker. Okay. Ancient Peaks. Yeah, I just did an episode on Ancient Peaks wine. I was impressed with this one. It is $50, so you know it's not chump change, but I thought it was pretty good. 68% Cab, Cabernet Sauvignon, 25% Petit Syrah, 5% Petit Verdot, and 2% Malbec. This is one I thought had a little bit more depth and fruit to it, but by the same time had good acid, good structure. Liked it a lot. All right. First place with an A minus. Sleight of Hand Cellars, The Conjurer, 2013 Columbia Valley Red Wine. Interesting. $30. So for $20 less, you can get the Sleight of Hands. The Conjurer has a picture of Neil Patrick Harris. I've had this on my episode before and really liked it, and I liked it even more now. And let's see, I think Trey Bush gives a composition on these. 60% Cab, 25% Cabernet Franc, and 15% Merlot. And I believe this is one I said had some Cab Franc in it, and you could taste that in it, made it more interesting, and certainly a lot more complex. Well, there you go. None of them got bad grades. They're all great wines, and there you go. I actually very impressed with the results. Thanks for watching, and remember, wine is not a mystery. It is just fermented grape shoots. Go Hawks! Just drink your wine and enjoy it. Be willing to try new things. You know, that's the important part. Don't be afraid to try new things. But never ever let anybody tell you what you should or shouldn't like, and if you do that, we can take the snob out of it.